Okay, we proceed to chapter 7, that is work measurement. So you can look at in chapter 9 in your textbook. Okay, what is the meaning of work measurement? It is the length of time to complete a specific task. And another definition also given here is determining the time that a qualified worker should take to complete a job under normal working conditions. So basically, work measurement is deciding the time to complete one particular job. Okay, for example, your test takes 1.5 hours, let's say. So that is the time set for you for that particular task, that is for the test. So that is called as work measurement, where the company or your ITM has determined the time to be taken in order to complete a specific task. Okay, to perform work measurement, or in order to determine the time taken to complete one particular job, we are going to use a time study method. Okay, in your textbook there are a few methods available, such as work sampling, historical, predetermined time emotion studies, historical experience, work sampling and all. But for our syllabus, we are only going to use time study method. Okay, in order to use time study method, you need to understand the three types of time first, or the three concepts of time. The observed times, basic time, or also called as normal time, and also the standard times. So what is meant by observed time? By the word observe means pemerhatian. It is the time which an operator being observed, usually using a stopwatch while the job is being performed. Okay, the word operator in this definition is the worker. So observed time here means the time recorded to complete a particular task by doing observation. Okay, the time which an operator being observed. Time yang direkodkan ataupun ditentukan untuk menyiapkan sesuatu tugas berdasarkan pemerhatian and by using a stopwatch. Okay, for example, I give you one question to complete and I observe you doing that job or that task. So the moment I say start, I will press the stopwatch, and when I press stop, I will look at the stopwatch. How long do you take? So that is called as observed time. Okay, masa yang direkodkan berdasarkan pemerhatian dengan menggunakan stopwatch. The next concept of time is normal or basic times. It is the time in which a qualified worker would take to complete the job at a normal work pace under the normal working condition. Okay, so for normal time or basic time, the most important keyword that you have to take or to have to focus on for this definition is at a normal work pace. Okay, work pace here means speed, kelajuan, or rate, R-A-T-E, kadar. Okay, so normal time or basic time is the time recorded or time taken by a worker to complete a particular task by considering the speed in doing the job, which we call as the work pace. Okay, masa yang ditentukan untuk menyiapkan sesuatu tugas berdasarkan ataupun mengambil kira kadar kelajuan seseorang pekerja untuk membuat tugas tersebut. So the work pace here is divided into three. First one is normal work pace, second slower work pace, and the third one is faster work pace. Okay, so how to measure the work pace or the speed here? It is measured in percentage, which we call as performance rating. Work pace ni dipanggil performance rating and is given in percentage. Okay, so the normal work pace here is at 100%. Faster work pace is at more than 100%, and the slower work pace is when the worker is working at a rate of lesser than 100%. Okay, for example, I give you one question, and I say to you, you have to take 30 minutes to complete that task. So when you take exactly 30 minutes to complete the task, meaning that you are working at a normal work pace. So your work pace is equal to 100%. Some of you take, let's say 15%. Saya bagi 30 minit, 30 minit, but you take 15 minutes. Okay, so you are working at faster work pace. So your performance rating or work pace is more than 100. And some of you might take 1 hour, okay, which is more than the time given. So you are working at a slower work pace, and the percentage for you working slower is more than lesser than 100%. Okay, then the last type of time or the last concept of time is the standard time. It is the time in which a qualified worker would take to complete a task, taking into consideration some allowances. So you need to focus on the word allowances here. So standard time is the time taken by a worker to complete a task, taking into consideration allowances taken. Okay, dengan mengambil masa allowances ni. So you need to understand first what is meant by allowances. Okay. Allowances in operations management, they are not money, bukan duit ya. So allowances here mean break time, masa rehat. Okay, break time given to employees to attend to personal needs, tea or lunch, to overcome tiredness or fatigue. So allowances ni adalah masa rehat yang diberi kepada pekerja untuk mengatasi keletihan dan untuk menyelesaikan tugas-tugas peribadi. So there are 4 types of allowances. The first one is relaxation allowance. So this type of allowance given to employees to relax and overcome fatigue. Fatigue means tiredness lah, keletihan. So relaxation allowance is the break time given to employees to relax. For example, lunch break, coffee break, time to go to the toilet, and time for prayer. And relaxation allowance here is compulsory to be given. Okay, when employees work for 9 hours a day, at least 1 hour must be given for the relaxation allowance for them to take lunch. And what happens if employees are not given relaxation allowance? You kerja 9 jam and you are not given any time for your lunch break. So that is impossible. Okay, so relaxation allowance must be given to employees. The next type of allowance is called as contingency allowance. It is the extra time or break time ni sama extra time given to correct minor defects in products or equipment and to collect some items such as tools or materials. So contingency allowance is the extra time given to employees to repair something or to correct the defects. Masa lebih ataupun masa rehat, masa lebih. Allowance ni can be understood as the extra time as well. Masa lebih yang diberi kepada pekerja untuk memperbaiki sesuatu kerosakan. Okay, for example, when employees are performing their job in the production process and suddenly the machine break down. So the engineer or the technician might take some extra time to repair that machine. So that extra time taken by the technician, it is called as the contingency allowance. Masa lebih untuk memperbaiki kerosakan. The next type of allowance is process allowance. It is the extra time given for non-working time that arises from nature itself. For example, warming up the machine. So process allowance is given to employees or extra time given because of it is the nature of the machine. Okay, masa lebih yang diberi kepada pekerja disebabkan keadaan semula jadi, especially the machine. Okay. Some businesses, they need to warm up their machine first, and definitely they will have to take some extra time. Okay, for example, laundry business. they need to warm up their iron first before ironing the garments or the clothes. So that extra time, even though it involves only a few seconds or a few minutes, it is still extra time. So that extra time is called as process allowance. Transportation business, they need to warm up the engine first. So a few minutes are taken. That few minutes are the process allowance. Same goes to the printing business. They need to warm up their printers, their photostating machines. So these few minutes taken, they are the process allowance. Okay, apply to some businesses only that need to warm up their machines. And the last type of allowance is called as policy allowance. Only policy allowance involves money, but the meaning is not the money, it is still the extra time. Okay, policy allowance is the extra time given because of labor regulations or trade union demands. For example, working outside normal hours must be paid overtime. Okay, policy allowance is where the employees take the extra time because of it is the instruction given by the top management or by the company itself. Okay, the company instructs the employees to work overtime to meet the demand from customers. Okay, to do the production to meet the demand from customers. So if this is the case, employees will take the extra time. So that extra time is called as overtime. So when employees work overtime, they have to be paid the overtime allowance. But overtime is not the policy allowance. Okay, the money given as the overtime payment is not the policy allowance. Policy allowance is the extra time taken to perform the job because of the instruction given by the companies. So please remember, allowance here means extra time or break time. So don't say anything about money. Okay, so these are the formulas that we will use for this chapter. So you can refer to the video showing you the working for this time study method.